Welcome to the Footy Show Daily, live here on Patreon, joined by Steve Kelly in the studio, back in the studio for the first time in about 5 months.
Yeah.
Good to see you, mate.
Yeah, you too,
Keeping
mate.
the social distancing and all of that. It's that time of the year when people are already talking about where teams will finish next season. That this season being finished, 10 days, and people are talking about where it'll be finishing next season.
Usually getting ready to go.
The race for the top four, once again, already. People choosing where teams will finish, and the lads have been talking about it this week.
City, Liverpool, Man United, and a surprise package, Arsenal. It's just come out of the blue. Nobody's expecting it, and you know what I mean. It's just going to be. It's going to be a complete surprise, isn't it?
There you go. You want to see more on that video and all of their picks for where they think teams will finish in the top four? Make sure you click the link in the description below. Robbie was quite supportive of his own club there, Arsenal. Yeah. I mean, I always think trying to do this before players have been signed is berserk anyway. But and this will change, because obviously what we say today will be very different on October the 5th when business is shut, and then what we say on October the 5th might look very differently in January, mightn't it? But just if you had to pick 4 teams that would finish in the top 4 next season, now, without any knowledge of anything else, who would be your 4 picks?
Probably going to sound really boring, but it'd probably be the 4 that are there now. At the moment, from what I've seen last season, obviously the start of the whole season again, I don't really see any other team really challenging the 4. I think Leicester proved over the last couple of weeks that maybe they're not as good as everybody thought. You've got obviously Arsenal. Probably if there was an outsider, and this is probably just based on the manager probably more than anything, would be Tottenham. I think he had a really good end to the season. Mourinho made them hard to beat, apart from obviously the odd embarrassing game in Sheffield United where they were awful. But I think he's a like you just said there, he's a results manager, and I think he's the only one I'd probably say out the 4 outside the 4 who would have a chance of getting in the Champions League, and they've got a top striker as well, which helps.
So it would basically be Liverpool, City, United and Chelsea, then, you think?
Hopefully the top 2 move around.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I would tend to agree with you. I think they look, obviously, again, doing this before anyone's made any real moves, but what you would say is Chelsea have got Timo Werner and they've got Hakim Ziyech coming in, both very, very good footballers. There's big links to Kai Havertz, there's big links to Jan Oblak. If they were to get those 2, you could then say Chelsea still feel as though they'd be a centre-back shy of winning it, but it would get them a lot closer, because they're all good players. And in Manchester United, it looked like they're in the groove with Solskjaer.
Sancho.
You know, they've got potentially got Jadon Sancho coming in. It looks like that could happen at the minute. Of course, there's still a couple of question marks over United's defence. And who knows if they'll hit the ground running the way they finished it. But just right now, you would have to say that they'd probably be in there. And obviously, the top 2 will be in there because they're the best 2 teams. Liverpool, the best team. City chasing them now, so they'd be in there. So it is difficult to look at other teams other than those 4 and say, yeah, these will break into it. I don't see, despite me getting on with Robbie, and I really like Robbie, I don't see Arsenal being close to the top 4.
No.
I think Wolves are a good side, but I don't see them breaking in. I think this was the best opportunity this year and he missed it. I think Leicester was second in Boxing Day and finished outside the top 4. I don't see them bridging that gap. Spurs, you're right. While I don't think Spurs are great, I think while you've got Harry Kane up front, who's a great goal scorer, and you've got Mourinho's tactical nous, they may be the ones who could potentially go close for getting in there. This is obviously, they're bringing in Højbjerg, who will help them. There's no question about that in midfield. Mourinho could be one of the managers who can tinker with it enough to get results. Depends how the players, if they stay with him, and if Kane can stay fit and get those goals, they may have an opportunity. Everybody else for me is playing for Europa League positions.
I think he wants to try and take that soft side of Tottenham away, Mourinho. And unfortunately, the way Tottenham play and the way Glenn Hoddle teams played and all that type of stuff, they're probably going to have to get away from that, unfortunately, because they're never going to win anything by playing like that, unfortunately. And that's what probably Mourinho was brought in for, to start putting a few trophies on the table.
Well, he's the bridge, isn't he? He's the bridge to, if we start winning, then mentality comes with the fans, it comes with the players.
Exactly.
And then maybe you can evolve your style over the years.
Because even as good as Pochettino was, he didn't really win anything. He won nothing in 5 years.
Yeah.
I think the last trophy he won was under the Spanish guy they had, Juan de Ramos, which was a long time ago now. So for the size of Tottenham, we've got a brand new stadium. I'm sure they want to try and get up to the heights of your Man Cities and your Liverpools. And he's obviously got a big job because they're an aging team as well, Tottenham. So they've got to start bringing a few younger players through. But I just think he's a big reason why they would probably be my outsider for the top 4. And let's be honest with you, we don't know, like we've just been talking a minute ago, we just don't know how teams are going to, I suppose, adapt as well to next season with the whole fans situation and all that as well. So I think, like you said there, it's too early to really be saying who's going to be doing this and who's going to be doing that until there's no guarantees that Werner and Ziyech are going to come in and set the world alight, like you just said. The 2 lads who've just played in, young lads who played in Holland and Germany, and Holland, we've seen with some players who Everton bought who were really good in Holland and then come to the Premier League and struggle.
Yeah, it's true.
So,
it's true. One thing we saw this week was we know who's now playing in the Premier League next season. Obviously the Championship playoff took place at Wembley yesterday. It wasn't a great game, let's be honest. I think fans would have made it better.
Yeah.
It's always a cautious game because there's so much at stake, isn't it?
Yeah, money-wise as well.
I don't know whether I've ever seen 2 footballing teams who like to play football pass the ball back as much as both of these clubs did last night. It was incredible.
It was, yeah.
They'd get so far up the pitch, turn and go start again, and it was like if you actually took a chance, you'd be through. And Fulham won it. Joe Bryan with a brilliant free kick, but obviously improvisation.
Yeah.
And then the second goal was fantastic, and obviously Brentford did get a very, very late goal through the Janssen, wasn't it, late on? And they will look back at this Brentford and see a huge opportunity gone, I think. They had 2 games at the end of the season to clinch promotion and didn't win either of them.
Yeah.
They went into this playoff situation, lost the first leg, and then recovered really well. And I thought that might have just given them that kick again with momentum. But Fulham and Scott Parker did really well and have got themselves up.
Yeah, I think probably overall I thought Fulham just deserved to win. Because I felt like Brentford just ran out of ideas the last couple of weeks. Like great team to watch during the last couple of months. Really like the way they're trying to do things as a club. But I think Fulham had a bit more, you could tell they'd played in playoff finals and playoff semi-finals before, and you could tell by the way they played, they just played the right game. And they had Mitrovic up front, who can, a good player up front, holds the ball up well, and it looks like they've got them solid defenders. Fair play to Scott Parker, I thought he come across really well after the game as well. Classy interview, seems a classy bloke. And it's be interesting now to see what happens with Brentford, especially with the whole, I know I've seen links with Ollie Watkins and
18 million release
and
clause,
Ben Rama is it as well.
Ben Rama, yeah.
It'll make you think, well, they have to, if them players get sold, their model is just starting again. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Brentford next season.
Well, Benham's done that, hasn't he? The fella who owns it, he's done that, and they've done it through the data. They've used the data brilliantly. They've recycled players, bought people like Hogan for cheap and sold them to Villa for 20 million and things like that. They've been able to do it year on year. I'm guessing they'll want to keep that team together, but if someone comes calling with money, he will just have to reinvest it. And they are clever the way they do it. I'd like to have seen them get up, because I like things like that being rewarded.
Different, isn't it, as well?
They're a bit different. They're moving from Griffin Park as well this summer, aren't they, into a new stadium. So hopefully he can keep the team together and they can do well. But Fulham back up, and Scott Parker's done really well.
Yeah, he has,
had some big decisions to make this, you know, and they stuck with him. They got the reward. Last time they came up, they tore it all up and spent 120 million and bought players that were never fitting, and they were dreadful. So it's going to be interesting now whether he keeps what he's got and just adds a couple of...
Seems like he wants hungry players, Parker. I noticed a few lads he had. Got a lot of young lads trying to get into the team as well. I think Parker will use next season to try and, like, he'll try and keep the same group, I imagine, together and add the odd bit of experience.
Well, do you think that the example of Sheffield United, say, is something that they should follow? Because Sheffield United, I mean, the two examples are Norwich and Sheffield United. Both tried to go with what they had. Norwich ultimately failed. But they failed for me because they tried to play a brand of football that, while it's commendable, it was fraught with mistakes. And in the Premier League, though, Premier League strikers punish you.
I worry about Norwich, to be honest with you. I do.
Well, they're in it. I mean,
Huddersfield situation.
They're in a difficult situation because he's trying to. They need to get some steeliness in there. But when I look at Fulham, you could equate them to Sheffield United. They don't play the same game, but Scott Parker's got a core of players, and they've got up with him. Now, if they reward those players by staying with the majority of them, then they've got an opportunity. Because realistically, fourth from bottom's a success next season for them.
Exactly, and they can't be going down the same route as they did and Aston Villa did last season.
Villa got lucky, didn't they?
Villa got lucky with that goal, basically, which was over the line. If that goes in, they're down, aren't they? So I think Fulham, it's going to be a tough season for them next year, no doubt about it. There's no way I can see them doing a Sheffield United personally. I think Sheffield United they had a bit more quality in the team with, and they've been together probably a lot longer as well. So I do think it'll be a tough season for Fulham. Like you said, fourth from bottom's a success, but it'll be interesting to see what type of business they do especially after last time of wasting all 100 million on players which just weren't good enough, basically.
Well, they moved away from what had done them, you know, being successful for them, didn't they?
It was really strange. He got kind of just the players who got them up, he kind of just forgot them all, which was really strange. It's
not good, and I don't think Villa have proved it this year. You can't bring in that many players, expect to settle, expect to do all right, because Premier League teams just take you apart.
The good thing with Fulham, last thing I'd say on them is that at least they've got a striker, a top, probably a Premier League striker, I'd say, in Mitrovic. I'm not saying he's a great striker, but I look at the other clubs who have come up, Leeds and West Brom, they haven't got anything like that. So
he's done it before in the Premier League. I mean, I thought that was quite a brave decision as well, not to play him last night. He only put him on with. I know it ended up going the way it did into extra time, but he only put him on in like the 87th minute.
He hadn't run in 13 days, he said. That's probably might be the reason why. So.
Well, maybe, but you just wondered whether he'd go with him to start, just to set the tempo. But he knew what he was doing, and he come on. And I mean, he potentially could have been sent off. He would have been sent off in the Premier League with that. But you can't put. It doesn't matter whether it was a shove or it wasn't. He put his arm down and fell his throat. It's a red card, and he is a hothead. So they'll have to make sure they look after that. But he is a lad who's capable of scoring goals for them. So who knows? Just some transfer news. Obviously, Nathan Ache's arrived in Manchester today to complete his medical and his move from Bournemouth. 41 million. What have you made of that one?
I've seen you and Andy talking about the last week. I think it's a lot of money for a player who, he's an okay player in my opinion. He's all right. He's not. I don't think he's Manchester City standard. No, I think he's probably top, just like probably maybe an Arsenal, Tottenham type standard. I don't get the hype, to be honest with you, Nathan Ache. I've seen him a couple of times. I think he's a bit rash at times. I think he's good on the ball, which is probably the reason why City have bought him, I imagine. And I know Andy has said he can play a number of positions, left back, in front of the back. But I think, I'm unsure on it. I
suppose it's up to Pep to improve him, isn't it?
Yeah. I suppose when Van Dijk left Southampton, no one knew he was going to be as good as he's turned out to be for Liverpool, has he? So if Pep can get half of that out of him, he's a Dutch international. You know what I mean? So
it is.
So
it's going to be interesting. Obviously, Ferran Torres completed his move to Manchester City yesterday. Jadon Sancho, United saying they won't be bullied into paying what Dortmund want for him. What's interesting is if it goes through with the fee they think it's going to go through for Manchester City, he'll get £15 million
15 million
as a sell-on as well. So, you know, that, I mean, Ferran Torres, you know, takes a chunk out of that straight away, doesn't it? You know, and with a player who's not even theirs now. So
I think Man United need to be careful because I think they've done a few bullying tactics of players before, so you can't have it all your own way.
No,
so.
not at all. Arsenal have offered Willian a 3-year deal, £7.5 million a year, according to reports. On the day they've made 55 staff redundant.
Also got Mesut Ozil
doesn't really
350 grand a week as well.
Doesn't sit right, that really, for me.
Not for me either. I think it's.
But
it just to me, obviously, Arsenal have always been one of them clubs who've had a bit of class as well. And it's kind of
waned over the last few years. Isn't it? I know Mikel Arteta isn't very happy, and rumours of that, you know, things are not smooth behind the scenes there, so to watch this space on him, he could.
I'm sure the people who got made redundant will be happy to see a player walking on 150 grand a week.
Yeah, they'll be made up, Southampton have signed Salisu from Valladolid for 10.9 million, looks like a decent signing for them. Tyndall, the assistant manager at Bournemouth, wants the job. Jason Tyndall's been with Eddie Howe for years. Howe obviously left the club the other day. I mean, just very briefly on Eddie Howe leaving. Surprised?
No, I wasn't. I've seen his interview after the Everton game, and I felt like he had it all written all over his face that he was going to. His time at Bournemouth was over, to be honest with you. I think it's the right decision for him and the club, to be honest with you. I think he needs to probably go away now and have a break and see what his next move will be after this. But he looked broken, man, to be honest with you, after the Everton game.
I think he'll feel it because he's built that club up. I think his issue was he didn't know how to defend, and that's ultimately cost him. I think you could probably throw him in to a team near the top and he played lovely football and win games, but if he can't defend, it doesn't mean anything. And we saw that at Everton with Roberto Martinez, and you've got to get the defence right.
I always used to compare them to Martinez. I actually think they were very similar in them.
Got to get the principles at the back right. You've got to. If you don't, look at the Premier League. Liverpool got it right with the goalkeeper and Van Dijk and won the league. City have got it wrong. Guardiola still hasn't solved up the company situation, and they've ended up not winning the league, being miles away this year. You know, United struggle because Harry Maguire isn't great. You know, or they haven't got a partner for him that brings the best out of him. So that's why they've had a soft centre. Chelsea, at times this season, haven't had it perfect. You've got to get that. You know, the centre-backs, right? City have got Nathan Ake now coming in. There's talks they want Koulibaly as well. If they got him, then they're back in business. Then if you've got Koulibaly, then...
That's a bit like what Van
Dijk did with Van Dijk. I mean, there's talks that City want another 5 players. You know, they want to replace David Silva, well, Ferran Torres, possibly. I don't know. And obviously Phil Foden has been fantastic. Koulibaly, they're talking about bringing another centre-forward in because Aguero's 32 now. Aubameyang, possibly, but then
Martinez, maybe.
Is he the right age? I don't know with Martinez, just for the money. I think they want 110 million, I think, isn't it? Which is why he hasn't gone to Barcelona. So, very, very interesting. It is going to be interesting as we move forward because there is a lot of stuff going on.
I think a lot of clubs will do a lot of business, definitely, especially the top end of the league. I think you'll try and, obviously, same with United, the amount of money they're spending. I don't think, by the looks of it, it's affected the likes of your Man Cities and your Man Uniteds by the looks of it.
I suppose the top couple mightn't do.
Yeah.
City have got
Chelsea's
money to
got
spend.
A free hit, haven't they, really,
Chelsea have got a free hit, which is why I know Liverpool have been cautious and will because of the money they're about to lose this season. It's a hell of a lot.
Interesting to see what likes your Wolves and
as you move lower down,
though,
we're all losing money because no fans in the stadium, COVID, you know, and people are worried. So you know, it may be a sell loan, you know, sell before you can buy low market for a lot of clubs are seeing that. We've seen Tottenham do a deal yesterday with Højbjerg for 15 million, but then in a separate deal, Southampton bought Kyle Walker-Peters for 12 million. And
so it was only 3 million.
So it's the way they do it on their balance sheet. So it is all very, very interesting. Obviously, Europe's back as well this weekend, so should be very... watchable, I think, because the games are going to be the one-off.
Yeah, I think I'm looking forward to the Champions League games. I'm really looking forward to, especially Friday.
Well, Friday we've got
Madrid,
obviously
City.
Juventus Lyon. That's 1-0 to Lyon.
Yeah.
You'd expect Juve to turn that round, especially given Lyon haven't played. They've only played friendlies in 5 months.
Yeah.
City beating Real Madrid 2-1 from the first leg, and then on Saturday night we've got Barca Napoli, which is 1-1 currently. So that's
a tough one.
an interesting one. Obviously Bayern Munich 3-up against Chelsea. So that's, you'd expect that was over. And then obviously the Champions League quarter-finals begin on next Wednesday with Atlanta PSG, a one-off game. So
that'll be interesting, that game.
That's looking very, very interesting. Let's have a look.
Who'd you fancy for the Champions League?
I feel like City have got a great chance, but then because it's one-off games, I don't know. It's the reality, because who clicks at the right? Bayern Munich are brilliant.
I said at the start of the season I fancy PSG.
PSG,
I don't know why. If they get Mbappe back as well, if he's fit.
But he's got a bad challenge in a friendly.
And obviously Neymar fit at the moment as well. So I don't know, I've got a funny feeling. I said PSG. I think watch them batter Real Madrid. I think it was 3-0 at the start of the year. I just thought this might be the year for PSG, but.
Well, this will represent a great chance for them, because it is the one-off game. If you've got said it before, over 2 legs, but if you click on the night, I suppose everybody's got the opportunity. Atalanta might never get a better opportunity than this one.
They've played the most recently, so they'll probably have the advantage as well.
When I look at squads, City stand out for me, but then again, so do Bayern Munich. Watched a lot of Bayern Munich, and they are incredible. Alphonso Davies, the pace of them, they've rebuilt themselves incredibly well.
They did look very good.
Lewandowski, anyone, you give him a chance up front to goal. Gnabry's been brilliant this season for them. They've just got players all over the pitch who can really hurt you. So in a one-off, Thomas Muller looks like he's back to his best. Yeah,
he looked really good after lockdown, Muller. Yeah, because I thought he was on a bit of a...
you did, but then you just look at them now, they've all flyers for them, so you look at them, they're after other players, quick players, and you're thinking, these look like a team.
It's going to be interesting, it'll be good. I'm really looking forward to the Champions League. So.
Should be good, should be very good. There you go, let us know what you think in the comments section below. If you want to watch this live, then join us on Patreon. Don't forget to subscribe to the Footy Show channel as well if you haven't already. This is a home for this one. If you want to hear more about who the lads think will finish in the top 4, make sure you click the link in the description below and leave a comment on that link as well on what you think. See you later.